A single moment can change everything. Heartland has given us years of love, family, and healing. But nothing could prepare us for the shocking twist in Season 19. Amy Fleming, the heart of the series, the woman who carried the legacy of her family and the spirit of the ranch, meets a tragic end that leaves fans devastated. Today, we're going to uncover how this heartbreaking chapter unfolded, why it hit so deeply, and what it means for the future of Heartland. From the very first episode of Heartland, Amy Fleming has been more than just a character. She has been the soul of the show, guiding us through nearly 2 decades of stories about family, resilience, and the unspoken bond between humans and horses. We first met Amy as a young girl grieving the sudden loss of her mother, Marion. It was through that tragedy that Amy discovered her gift, an almost magical ability to understand and heal troubled horses. That gift didn't just make her special, it made her the very heart of Heartland Ranch. Over the years, viewers watched Amy grow from a teenager finding her place in the world into a strong woman who carried the weight of her family and community on her shoulders. Her bond with Ty Borden was one of the most powerful storylines on television. Together they showed us that love can heal even the deepest wounds. When Ty passed away, Amy's story became one of survival and strength, showing how a woman can rebuild her life even when her heart is shattered. Raising her daughter Lyndy while keeping the ranch alive, Amy proved that no matter how heavy life's burdens become, hope can still grow. Amy wasn't just a horse trainer. She was a symbol of kindness, patience, and emotional healing. Fans connected with her because she reflected real struggles: loss, love, forgiveness, and the search for peace. Each horse she saved was also a reflection of the people in her life, and often herself. Every time she stepped into that round pen, she wasn't just training, she was teaching us about courage. But as Season 19 unfolded, subtle changes hinted that something was different. Amy seemed more reflective, more aware of the fragility of life. In conversations with Jack and Lou, she spoke about carrying her mother's legacy and questioned how long she could keep giving everything to everyone else. These moments, small at first, became quiet warnings that Amy's story was heading toward a painful, unforgettable ending. As Season 19 progressed, the story of Heartland began to take on a heavier, almost haunting tone. At first, it felt like the usual challenges of ranch life: conflicts over land, family disagreements, and the struggles of keeping traditions alive in a changing world. But underneath all of that, something deeper was quietly unfolding. Amy Fleming, the woman who had always been a pillar of strength, seemed to be carrying a weight we couldn't quite see. One of the earliest signs came in her bond with Lyndy. There were more moments than usual of Amy holding her daughter close, whispering words about strength and bravery. It almost felt like a mother preparing her child for something she knew might come. Even Jack noticed it. In one powerful scene, Amy and Jack sat on the porch watching the sunset. And Amy said softly, "Sometimes I wonder how many more of these I'll get to see." At the time, it felt like just another reflection on life's fleeting nature. But now, looking back, it was a chilling foreshadowing. The season also gave us episodes where Amy pushed herself to the edge, both physically and emotionally. She took on dangerous horses, sometimes ignoring the risks that others warned her about. In one scene, when Lou begged her to slow down, Amy simply smiled and said, "If I don't do this, who will?" It was as though she was pouring every last ounce of herself into her gift, giving everything to the animals and people who needed her, without keeping anything for herself. Then came the dreams. Throughout the season, Amy had recurring visions of her mother, Marion. These moments weren't just nostalgic flashbacks. They felt like messages, as though her mother was calling her home. In one dream, Amy stood in the fields of Heartland, and Marion whispered, "It's almost time." For longtime fans, these scenes seemed spiritual and symbolic, but now they stand as the quiet echoes of a story preparing for its most heartbreaking turn. Even the horses seemed to sense it. In one emotional episode, Spartan, Amy's lifelong companion, grew restless whenever she was near, almost as if he could feel the storm coming. Their bond, which had carried her through every chapter of her life, was filled with unspoken goodbyes. By the time the finale approached, the pieces were all there. The subtle reflections, the warnings, the foreshadowing, all leading toward an ending no fan was prepared to face. And yet every quiet detail had been carefully placed, pointing to the fact that Amy's journey was reaching its most tragic conclusion. The final episode of Heartland Season 19 begins with a sense of uneasy calm. The ranch is quiet. The family gathered for what seems like just another day. But every shot, every piece of music feels heavier than usual, as if the world itself knows something tragic is about to unfold. Amy is at the center of it all, strong, determined, but strangely peaceful, as though she has already made peace with something the rest of us cannot yet see. The moment comes when Amy takes on one last challenge, helping a dangerously wild horse that no one else could handle. It's a scene that feels both familiar and haunting, because this is how we've always known Amy: fearless, patient, willing to risk everything to heal a soul in pain. But this time, the stakes are higher. As she steps into the pen, there's a silence, broken only by the sound of the horse's hooves. Jack and Lou watch nervously. Lyndy clings to her aunt, and we as viewers hold our breath. At first it looks like Amy will do what she's always done: calm the storm, bring light to the darkness. But in a single terrifying instant, things spiral out of control. The horse, spooked and frantic, bolts toward the fence, and Amy rushes forward to save a young ranch hand caught in the chaos. It's in that split second of sacrifice that tragedy strikes. Amy pushes the boy to safety, but in doing so, she is thrown violently to the ground. The impact is brutal, and the silence that follows is deafening. The camera lingers not on the chaos, but on the faces of those who love her. Jack's expression crumbles into heartbreak. Lou's cries pierce the air. Lyndy's innocent voice calls out for her mother, but Amy does not answer. In that moment, the truth becomes clear. The heart of Heartland has stopped beating. The episode doesn't rush past the grief. Instead, it lets us sit with it. We see Amy's hand slip from Spartan's reins, her bond with him finally broken. We see her family fall apart, holding each other in disbelief as the weight of the moment sinks in. And we see Lyndy, small and fragile, reaching for her mother one last time, only to be guided away by Lou. Amy Fleming's death is not just a plot twist. It is a wound carved into the very soul of the series. It is sudden, shocking, and unbearably real. A reminder that even the strongest hearts can be taken in an instant. The silence after Amy's fall is not just the absence of sound. It is the breaking of a world. Heartland without Amy feels unthinkable, and that truth is written across the faces of her family. Jack, the strong grandfather who always carried wisdom and calm, is suddenly reduced to tears, his voice trembling as he whispers Amy's name. For him, losing Amy is like losing Marion all over again. A cycle of pain repeating itself, this time cutting even deeper. Lou clings to her daughter, torn between being a mother and a grieving sister, her cries filling the air as though she can scream Amy back into existence. But it is Lyndy who delivers the heaviest blow to the audience. Too young to fully understand, yet old enough to feel the emptiness, she calls out for her mom in confusion. In one devastating shot, Lyndy runs toward Amy, only to be stopped by Lou. The look in her eyes asks the question no one dares to speak. Who will guide me now? And in that moment, the audience realizes the true tragedy is not only Amy's death, but the future her daughter must now face without her. The community of Hudson also mourns. Neighbors gather at the ranch, bringing food, flowers, and words that feel too small for such a loss. The ranch, once a place of healing, feels hollow without Amy's presence. Even the horses seem to carry the grief. Spartan standing still by the fence, his eyes searching for the partner he has lost forever. It's as though the entire world of Heartland has shifted, and nothing will ever be the same again. Yet within the sorrow lies something deeper. Amy's death is not written as a cruel ending, but as a sacrifice born of love. She gave her life to save another, just as her mother did before her. It is a reminder of the cycle of courage that runs through the Fleming family, a legacy of putting others before oneself. Symbolically, Amy's death becomes more than just a tragedy. It becomes a passing of the torch, a lesson in resilience, and a painful reminder that love and loss are forever bound together. The imagery throughout the finale reinforces this theme. Horses running freely across the ranch fields echo Amy's spirit being set free. The sunsets she once cherished now belong to her family, left behind to remember her. And the round pen, once her sanctuary, becomes a place of silence, where the memory of her gift lingers in every wooden beam. In the end, Amy's story is one of love, sacrifice, and legacy. Her death may have broken the hearts of her family and fans alike, but her spirit continues to live on, in Lyndy, in Heartland Ranch, and in every life she touched. The shock of Amy Fleming's death did not stay within the walls of Heartland Ranch. It spilled into living rooms around the world. Fans who had grown up with her, who saw her not just as a character but as family, were left stunned and broken. Social media lit up within minutes of the finale, with thousands of messages pouring in. Disbelief, heartbreak, anger, and grief. Some fans wrote that they had to pause the episode because the tears were too much. Others admitted that losing Amy felt like losing a part of their own lives. For nearly 2 decades, Amy was more than just a fictional figure. She was hope. She was resilience. She was the reminder that no matter how dark life gets, healing is always possible. Her journey from a grieving teenager to a mother raising her daughter in strength mirrored the struggles of many viewers. People who had lost loved ones, who had fought to rebuild their lives, often found comfort in Amy's story. And now, watching her fall left them with a sense of unfinished grief. Yet within this pain lies the depth of her legacy. Amy Fleming changed what Heartland was. She made the show more than a drama about ranch life. She made it a story about survival, compassion, and the bond between humans and animals. Every episode that featured her gift reminded fans of their own power to love, to forgive, and to start again. That kind of legacy doesn't vanish with death, it only grows stronger. The finale also sparked debates. Some argued that the show had gone too far, that Heartland could never recover from this loss. Others saw it as a bold, if heartbreaking decision, an ending that honored Amy's story by letting her final act be one of sacrifice and love. For many, it raised the question, can Heartland even exist without Amy Fleming? And yet the power of Heartland has always been in its message that life continues. Just as Marion's death gave birth to Amy's journey, Amy's own passing may shape the future of Lyndy, Lou, and the entire ranch. Fans may grieve, but they also watch with hope. Hope that Amy's spirit will guide the next generation. Hope that her voice will echo in every storyline to come. In the end, Amy Fleming's death has secured her place as one of television's most unforgettable characters. Her story will be told and retold by fans for years, her legacy woven into every memory of Heartland. She may be gone from the screen, but she will never be gone from the hearts of those who loved her. Amy Fleming's story may have ended, but her spirit continues to ride through every heartbeat of Heartland. Her love for her family, her bond with the horses, and her quiet strength left a mark that cannot be erased. For 19 seasons, Amy carried us through loss, love, and the endless fight to hold on to hope. And in her final moments, she gave us one last lesson, that love, even in sacrifice, is the most powerful gift of all. The ranch will never be the same without her. The porch where she once sat with Jack will feel emptier. The round pen where she worked miracles will be silent. And Lyndy's laughter will now carry an ache, because it will always echo the absence of her mother. But Heartland has always been a story about moving forward, no matter how deep the wounds. Just as Marion's passing opened the door to Amy's journey, Amy's death may now guide a new chapter for Lyndy and the next generation. For the fans, Amy is not truly gone. She lives in every memory, every rewatch, every tear shed over her story. She lives in the lessons she taught, about patience, about healing, about never giving up even when the world feels impossible. And she lives in the horses she loved, creatures who will forever symbolize her unbreakable spirit. As we look toward the uncertain future of Heartland, one truth is clear. Amy Fleming will always be its heart. Whether the series continues or ends here, her presence will forever guide it, like the steady beat of hooves across an open field. Her story is not just a television arc. It is a legacy of resilience that fans around the world will carry in their own lives. So, as the sun sets over the hills of Hudson, we say goodbye. Not just to Amy, but to a chapter of Heartland that defined an era. And maybe, just maybe, that sunset is not an ending, but a beginning. Because in every sunrise that follows, in every horse that runs free, and in every family that chooses love over despair, Amy Fleming lives on. Now it's your turn. How did Amy's death affect you? Do you see this as the end of Heartland or the beginning of a new story? Share your thoughts, your grief, and your hopes in the comments. Because this is more than just a show, it's a family, and Amy will always be part of ours. In the end, Amy Fleming's story is not defined by the way she died, but by the way she lived. For 19 seasons, she showed us the strength that comes from love, the healing that comes from compassion, and the courage it takes to keep moving forward even when life tries to break you. Her journey was filled with loss, yes, but also with victories, growth, and a quiet determination that inspired millions of fans around the world. The tragic ending of season 19 shocked us all, but maybe that is what makes Amy's story unforgettable. Life itself is unpredictable, fragile, and often cruel. Yet, in the moments before her death, Amy was doing what she had always done, saving someone else, giving everything she had for the sake of another life. That is not just a character choice. That is the essence of who Amy Fleming was: a healer, a protector, a mother. As the curtain falls on her chapter, the impact of her presence remains everywhere. In Jack's wisdom, in Lou's determination, in Lyndy's smile, and in every corner of Heartland Ranch, Amy's spirit will linger. Her legacy is not one that ends with tragedy. It is one that continues through the people she loved and the lives she touched. And for the fans, Amy is immortal. Every rewatch of her first ride with Spartan, every memory of her laughter with Ty, every moment of her guiding hand with a frightened horse, these are the treasures she has left us. She belongs not only to the story, but to everyone who found comfort, inspiration, and hope in her journey. So as the fields of Hudson stretch wide and the horses run free beneath the fading light, we take one last look at Amy Fleming, not with despair but with gratitude. Gratitude for the years she gave us, the lessons she taught us, and the reminder that love always endures. Her time in Heartland may be over, but her story will never fade. Because Amy Fleming is not just a character we watched on a screen. She is a part of us now, and she always will be.